Once, in a tumultuous era for Faerûn, there came a cataclysmic time known as the Time of Troubles. It was like no other during the grand cycle of 1358 DR, the Year of Shadows, when destiny's threads were woven in the loom of fate, and the very heavens trembled with anticipation. The heavens quivered with trepidation, for even the gods were not spared from the cruel hand of fate. It was a period where gods could bleed, and the ethereal realms echoed with the clash of divine conflicts. Immortal titans met their end, and their celestial tears wept across the heavens, staining the skies with iridescent hues. In the throes of this epic upheaval, mortals witnessed spectacles of unfathomable wonder. As the heavens wept and the earth quaked beneath the footsteps of the divine, a revelation emerged from the chaos. Among the chosen, a handful of mortals, their spirits alight with valor and resolve, ascended to the pantheon's heights, transcending their mortal coils to embrace godhood. Yet, even as new stars were born in the celestial firmament, the fallen gods left behind an indelible mark on the world. The voids they left in the hearts of their followers ached with loss, and the dance of power continued, forever altered by this extraordinary period of time. It all began with the audacious ambitions of the gods Bane and Merkel, with Bhaal in the wings, who, consumed by their hunger for power, hatched a daring plot to lay their hands upon the tablets of fate, guarded by none other than the deity Ao himself. These formidable artifacts, fashioned from unyielding stone slabs, held within them the very essence of cosmic equilibrium. They stood as sentinels, guardians of the delicate balance between the inexorable forces of law and the unpredictable tides of chaos, ensuring the harmony of existence itself. Beyond their sacred role in maintaining cosmic order, the tablets of fate held another unfathomable power. Engraved upon their surfaces were the names and purposes of every god and primordial that spanned the boundless expanse of the universe. Within their depths, the history of creation was etched, the destinies of the divine were chronicled, and the symphony of existence resounded in a magnificent cacophony of celestial revelations. These sacred slabs were not mere objects, but living conduits of the divine will. Their very existence formed an impenetrable barrier between the worlds of Abir and Toriel, safeguarding the delicate realms from untold cataclysm and calamity. Angered by the ceaseless squabbles and neglectful ways of the divine beings, Lord Ao, the arbiter of all existence, had grown weary of their arrogance after the theft of the tablets of fate. With a resounding decree, he summoned each and every god, and each was to forsake their divine realms and tread upon the mortal soil of Faerûn among their followers. The repercussions of this celestial mandate reverberated across the cosmos in a trilogy of cataclysmic consequences. First, the once potent divine magic, those sacred spells bestowed upon devoted clerics by their patron deities, faltered and failed to work altogether, leaving the faithful bereft of their celestial blessings. Only when the devout stood within a mere mile of their deity's mortal avatar could they tap into the dwindling font of divine power. Second, the delicate balance of arcane magic, governed by the watchful eyes of the goddess Mystra, was irrevocably shattered. The weave, the ethereal tapestry from which sorcerers and wizards had drawn their mystical prowess, became a maelstrom of unpredictability, causing wild and capricious manifestations that tested even the most seasoned spellcasters. And third, a profound transformation befell the gods themselves. Once aloof and immortal beings, they now dwelt among the mortal civilizations of Faerûn, their divine essence constrained within mortal vessels. Though their might remained unparalleled, they were no longer immune to the tribulations and trials of the world they once merely observed. In the wake of the tablets of fate's theft, Tyr, the resolute god of justice, found himself ensnared in the wrathful currents of Ao's fury. With righteous indignation, the overdeity's divine gaze fell upon Tyr, and in a blaze of fury, he was struck blind. The divine punishment bore heavy upon the god, and darkness shrouded his once piercing eyes, rendering him sightless. Ao deemed Tyr accountable for the theft, holding him responsible for his perceived negligence in safeguarding the Tablets of Fate, and would choose not to heal his eyes. Beyond the borders of Faerûn, even pantheons far removed, like the Karaturon and Mastican, found themselves caught in the cosmic maelstrom, their gods joining the ranks of the divine wanderers upon the earth. With a voice that echoed through the heavens and shook the firmament, Ao tasked Helm with a mission of paramount importance: to stand as the steadfast sentry at the celestial stairways. The celestial stairways, a majestic and ethereal bridge that spanned the infinite void, served as the portal to the divine realms, where the gods would find their path back to their celestial abodes. Such a task was not to be taken lightly, for the fate of all existence hung in the balance. For this solemn duty, Helm was granted a divine boon unlike any other. He retained his resplendent powers, his godly essence undiminished, while his brethren roamed the mortal realm in mortal guises. With his divine authority intact, Helm stood as a paragon of vigilance and inviolable strength, unwavering in his devotion to the sacred trust bestowed upon him. In the grand theater of the cosmos, the stage was now set for an epic era of change. Like cascading dominoes of divine fate, it was Mystra's destruction that marked another poignant chapter in the unfolding drama of the Time of Troubles. The first domino was set when the malevolent avatar of Bane seized control of Castle Kilgrave, transforming it into his own sinister domain on Faerûn, a place now known as New Acheron. With spell-shaping magic, he twisted and molded the castle to mirror the haunting visage of his temple of suffering on the dread plain of Acheron. Bane plotted a sinister scheme to subdue and imprison the pure energy form of Mystra, the goddess of magic. With cunning and unknown means, he wielded the arcane nullifying effects of a Hakiashar, a potent artifact of immense power, to ensnare the essence of the divine deity. Bane sought to bend Mystra to his will, hoping to enlist her in his malevolent alliance aimed at overthrowing the overgod Ao himself. However, the goddess of magic, resolute and defiant, refused to submit to his vile machinations. In the face of Mystra's steadfast refusal, Bane's ambitions were curtailed. Unable to fully control her divine form, he was forced to resort to siphoning away her power over arcane magic, a plan that would still grant him immense dominion and strength. But previously, in the final hour before the gods were cast down to walk the lands as mortals, a moment of profound significance unfolded between Mystra, the goddess of magic, and her mortal friend, Midnight. As the heavens themselves trembled with the impending cataclysm, Mystra entrusted Midnight with a fragment of her divine power, a precious gift in the form of a pendant. Guided by the goddess of magic, Caitlin Moonsong sought out Midnight and a group of worthy adventurers. This brave company included the devoted priest Adon, the skilled mercenary Kalemver Lionsbane, and the enigmatic thief named Cyric. Midnight found herself at a crossroads. The fate of Mystra, the balance of magic, and the destiny of the realms rested upon her shoulders. The pendant, a symbol of Mystra's trust and power, now bore even greater weight, serving as a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. Midnight, wielding the amulet of Mystra, channeled the goddess's divine essence, unraveling the dark illusions that had concealed Bane's true form. When the moment of confrontation arrived, the air crackled with tension as Mystra's essence merged with Caitlin, transforming her into an instrument of divine power. Together, they faced the malevolent avatar of Bane in a titanic clash of wills and magic. As the truth was unveiled, the malevolent avatar found himself outmatched by the might of Mystra and Caitlin combined. Defeat loomed before him, and with the goddess's essence coursing through Caitlin, they forced Bane to flee, slipping through a vortex as New Acheron crumbled away from his grasp. With her might restored, Mystra led the group through a gate to the ethereal plane, where they journeyed towards the celestial stairway. There, they encountered the guardian god Helm, steadfast in his duty to protect the gateway to the heavens. Mystra, seeking to regain her rightful place as the keeper of the weave, confronted Helm and denied any involvement in the theft of the Tablets of Fate. Filled with righteous indignation, she demanded passage to Lord Ao to plead her case and reclaim her divine role. However, Helm, bound by his duty and unwavering in his loyalty, refused Mystra's request. He warned her to turn back, unwilling to allow her passage to Ao without proper authorization. In a surge of fury and frustration, Mystra launched a relentless assault on Helm, unleashing a barrage of magical attacks and summoning fearsome creatures. Yet, Helm's resolve remained unyielding as he absorbed or deflected each of her assaults. Weeping blue flame tears of anger and desperation, Mystra grappled with Helm, her anger threatening to consume her. In her rage, she attacked him with all her might, but Helm stood firm, a bastion of unyielding defense. In a climactic moment, their eyes locked in a chilling gaze, and Mystra saw her impending doom etched in Helm's visage. In a heart-wrenching realization, she understood the cost of her actions, and her fury turned to despair. In that moment of emotional turmoil, Helm made a fateful decision. He drew back and struck with decisive force, plunging his gauntlet fist through Mystra's chest. The force of the impact sent shockwaves rippling across the ethereal plane, as Caitlyn's body erupted in a blinding flash of unimaginable power. The explosion reverberated through the heavens and the realms, a cataclysmic release of divine energy that shook the very fabric of reality. In that moment, the goddess of magic, Mystra, was no more. Amidst the perils of their journey, the group was forced to press on, traveling eastward to seek the wise counsel of Elminster in Shadowdale. Amidst their epic journey towards Shadowdale, fate intervened with a fateful stop in Tilverton, where Adon's life took a dramatic turn. A crazed follower of Gond inflicted a grave wound upon the young cleric, leaving a prominent scar etched across his face. This physical injury, however, was merely the surface of a profound internal struggle. The encounter with the Gond follower became a turning point in Adon's spiritual journey, igniting a crisis of faith within him. Disillusioned and disheartened by what he perceived as Soon's indifference to his plight, Adon turned his back on the goddess he once worshipped with fervent devotion. He could no longer fathom dedicating himself to a deity he deemed vain and uncaring. The weight of his disillusionment led him into the depths of despair, threatening to engulf him entirely. As they passed through the foreboding Spiderhaunt Wood, they crossed paths with the company of Dawn adventuring band. Surprisingly, Cyric formed an unexpected bond with a young thief named Brian. Their friendship, however, was cruelly shattered when they faced a brutal ambush by giant spiders, resulting in Brian's tragic demise before Cyric's eyes. Haunted by the traumatic experience, Cyric kept his emotions locked away, unwilling to share the depths of his pain with the others. Their path led them to Shadowdale, where they arrived just as the Zentler forces prepared to invade the peaceful town. Cyric's former mentor, Merrick, tempted him to join the Zent's cause, embracing a life of darkness and treachery. However, Cyric chose a different path, embracing the camaraderie and honor he found among his new companions. In a shocking twist, Cyric ultimately turned against Merrick, accusing him of being a Zent spy and ending his life. When the Zents launched their assault, Cyric and the rest of the group fought valiantly to defend Shadowdale. Cyric's bravery and strategic prowess proved invaluable, and he led daring ambushes against the Zentler forces, earning him the admiration of the local Dales folk. Following the Second Battle of Shadowdale, Adon and Midnight found themselves in peril, accused of the disappearance and presumed death of the revered old sage Elminster. Facing an unjust death sentence, Cyric hatched a daring plan to rescue his friends. Driven by a mixture of indifference and bloodlust, he silently dispatched guardsmen as he liberated Midnight and the almost lifeless Adon from captivity. In the cloak of night, the trio set out on their next perilous quest, their destination set for Tuntras, where a rumored tablet of fate awaited. As they journeyed, Cyric's dark and cynical nature grew stronger. He taunted and tormented the troubled Adon, trying to sway Midnight away from any hope of reuniting with Kalemver. To Cyric, Midnight and her arcane power were mere means to acquire the Tablets of Fate for himself. When they reached Blackfeather Bridge, Kalemver and a group of Dalesmen were waiting to apprehend them. In a panic, Cyric capsized their skiff and fell into the waters. He managed to deceive the Dalesmen and join the company of the Scorpions, a formidable group of Zentler soldiers. He climbed the ranks swiftly, eventually taking over the company for himself. Cyric's company was granted an audience with Bane, who remained in the body of Zul Kembrel. Cyric offered information about his former companions and their quest, but held back Midnight's true name. Bane assigned Cyric and the assassin Durak with the task of killing Kalemver in Tuntras and apprehending Midnight. Bane's avatar took the form of a towering obsidian colossus, exuding an aura of darkness and malevolence. This formidable manifestation of Bane led his forces, including the fleet of Zent ships, across the Dragon Reach to Tuntras. In the vibrant city of Tuntras, Adon's path crossed with the avatar of Torm the True, the noble deity of duty and loyalty. Together, they devised a clever plan to deceive the zealous clergy of the gods who had imposed their rule over the city, driving away followers of all other faiths. Adon and Torm worked in tandem, their alliance born from a shared desire to restore harmony and freedom to the realm. With Torm's counsel, Adon found solace and strength, learning not to lose himself in the depths of despondent self-loathing. The wisdom of the god bolstered Adon's spirit, reigniting the flickering flame of his faith and resolve. In the heart of Tuntras, Torm's avatar stood empowered by the devotion of his true faithful, ready to confront an enormous Bane. The clash between Bane and Torm was a titanic struggle, with immense destructive power unleashed on both sides. The colossal Bane and the equally mighty avatar of Torm engaged in a ferocious battle that shook the very foundations of the land. Their conflict was so intense that it resulted in the destruction of their mortal avatars, leaving them both seemingly vanquished. In this moment of chaos and opportunity, Cyric, ever the opportunist, took advantage of the situation. Sensing that the gods' attention was diverted by their epic battle, he ordered his ship, the Argent, to withdraw from the combat zone, avoiding the devastating magic unleashed by Midnight and the returned Elminster on Bane's army. Cyric's cunning and treacherous nature allowed him to survive the confrontation unscathed, even though he had no direct hand in the gods' destruction. While Bane and Torm's avatars were defeated, their divine essences were not fully extinguished, as gods are incredibly difficult to permanently destroy. With the gods' duel concluded, Cyric set his sights on his original goal, the pursuit of Midnight, who had reunited with Kalemver and Adon. The Argent sailed westward, relentlessly pursuing the adventurers, as Cyric sought to claim the Tablets of Fate for himself and further his own dark ambitions. During their pursuit, Cyric acquired the blade known as God's Bane. This weapon, an intelligent and malevolent artifact, was inhabited by the spirit of the God Mask. God's Bane's dark influence and manipulative nature further fueled Cyric's murderous instincts and pushed him deeper into his descent into darkness. Under the blade's guidance, Cyric became even more dangerous and unpredictable, giving in to his most violent tendencies without restraint. During his pursuit of Midnight and her companions, horrific murders began to occur across the Heartlands, with the evidence pointing to the avatar of Bhaal, the Lord of Murder. These gruesome killings were attributed to Cyric, who had taken on the form of Bhaal's avatar. Cyric's ability to shift his appearance made him difficult to track, and his actions brought fear and chaos to the region as innocent lives were taken. The adventurers sought refuge within the mighty fortress of High Horn. But alas, their moment of respite was fleeting, for destiny had other plans in store. As they journeyed westward through treacherous Yellow Snake Pass, under the watchful eyes of the valiant Cormyrean soldiers, a dark shadow loomed upon the horizon. In the cover of night, like a wraith, Cyric, the enigmatic former companion, emerged from the shadows to confront his old friend, Kalemver. The clash of titans began, with swords clashing and sparks flying in a dance of deadly steel. The eyes of the Cormyrean soldiers and Cyric's own company bore witness to this epic duel of destiny. Amidst the swirling chaos, Midnight, the wise and pleading voice, implored Cyric to return to the fold and cast off the dark path he had chosen. But the fury in Cyric's heart had grown too great, and he ignored the call of reason. Cunningly, he played upon Mystra's sympathy, breaking free from Kalemver's grasp and committing an act of treacherous violence. In a shocking twist of fate, he struck down their fellow companion, Sneakabout, in cold blood, as if fate itself had turned against them. The darkness claimed him once more, and he vanished into the night, leaving the group in shock and turmoil. The rift between Cyric and his former comrades deepened, and the pursuit of Midnight and the Tablets of Fate took on an ominous hue. The malevolent influence of the God Mask, whispering in Cyric's ear, pushed him further down the path of destruction and chaos. As the dark tale unfolded, Midnight, filled with righteous fury, could no longer bear to witness Cyric's heartless cruelty. Determined to put an end to his wicked ways, she embarked on a perilous journey to confront him alone. Little did she know that fate had other plans in store. In a twist of treachery and malevolence, Bhaal, the god of murder, struck like a serpent, kidnapping Midnight in his avatar form. He revealed a sinister truth to her, that she alone possessed the power to overcome the mighty helm and retrieve the second tablet from the realm of the dead. Mystra's previous attempt had failed, but Bhaal believed that Midnight held the key to success. Setting aside their past grievances, Kalemver, Adon, and Cyric found themselves united once more. Realizing that rescuing Midnight was their shared goal, they put aside their differences and agreed to work together. With determination burning in their hearts, they rode towards the ominous Borsker Bridge. Upon the bridge, the former companions faced the formidable avatar of Bhaal in an epic battle for the ages. Swords clashed, spells roared, and the very heavens seemed to tremble with the force of their conflict. Together, they wore down the god of murder, and in a moment of triumph and revenge, Cyric delivered a final fatal blow through Bhaal's chest with the sword, God's Bane. Yet, victory came at a terrible cost. A blast of blinding white energy engulfed the bridge and all who stood upon it. The world held its breath as the clash of godly powers reverberated through the land. Though his essence was absorbed by the winding water, Bhaal had prepared for his demise, and his Bhaalspawn progeny, scattered throughout Faerûn, harbored the potential for his resurrection. As the sun rose over the ruins of Dragonspear Castle, Cyric awoke to the voices of his former companions, debating his fate. They decided to leave him to his own devices and ventured forth to the cursed castle, leaving Cyric with a sinister grin upon his face. Clutching God's Bane, the intelligent blade that guided his darkest desires, Cyric stalked after them, following their every move. In the depths of the ruined castle, a fateful encounter awaited. As they descended into the dark basement, Cyric struck with deadly precision, aiming for Kalemver but tragically killing Adon with a single shot from his bow. Mystra's magic turned him away, forcing him to retreat, but his thirst for power and vengeance burned brighter than ever. Biding his time, Cyric continued to track his companions, following them to the illustrious city of Waterdeep. Like a shadow, he infiltrated the city's labyrinthine sewer system, lurking in the darkness. As Myrkul, the god of the dead, descended beneath Blackstaff Tower to deposit one of the Tablets of Fate, Cyric seized the opportunity and ascended the tower, where a fateful reunion awaited. On the tower's rooftop, he found Elminster, Midnight, Kalemver, and even a resurrected Adon, all in possession of both Tablets of Fate. In the skies over Waterdeep, Myrkul, the sinister god of the dead and another of the Dead Three, met his end in a fateful duel with Midnight wielding the powers of Mystra. Myrkul, the Lord of the Dead, infused the enigmatic crown of horns with the remnants of his essence, thus ensuring the continuation of his malevolent aspirations even after his apparent destruction. This dark artifact, a wellspring of sinister potential, lurked in the shadows, a harbinger of Merkel's plans for resurgence. There, at the zenith of the world, Cyric unveiled his nefarious plan. Cyric struck with malevolent intent. Gravely wounding Midnight and slaying Kalemver, he seized the tablets and made his way to the celestial stairway atop Mount Waterdeep. There, in the presence of Lord Ao, the overgod of the realms, Cyric presented himself boldly. Pleading his case with cunning words, he sought godhood for himself. Ao, the supreme arbiter, granted Cyric's audacious request, and in a twist of fate, Midnight was offered apotheosis as well. Yet, she hesitated, reluctant to accept such a destiny. In a moment of profound clarity, Adon stood resolute, declaring that the service to the realms demanded action against an immortal Cyric. Midnight accepted and took on the powers of Mystra as well as her name. As a god, Cyric would forever be bound to serve both Ao and his new followers throughout the realms, eternally bereft of satisfaction and joy. As the reclaimed tablets of fate were presented to Ao, the overgod himself gazed upon the very essence of existence held within those ancient stones. But instead of restoring them to their rightful place, he chose an unforeseen path. In an act that reverberated through the heavens, Ao wielded his unfathomable power, grinding the tablets of fate into a fine powder. The once mighty slabs, the keepers of cosmic order, were obliterated, their sacred inscriptions and profound truths reduced to a mere memory. With this single act, the laws of realm space were unraveled, and the very fabric of reality trembled. The era of upheaval had begun. But that, dear listener, is a tale for another time. If you would like to hear many more tales and legends, don't forget to hit like and subscribe.